Joining me now is Ian Bosson, Executive Director of Protect Democracy, and that is the nonprofit legal organization representing Shaye Moss and Ruby Freeman. Mr. Bosson, thanks so much for being with us. To say this is a victory is an understatement. Thank you. I mean, we all watched because Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss were among the most gripping witnesses to the January 6th hearings, and they are part of the indictment down in Fulton County, so they apparently are going to be called there also. They were not public figures. They had their lives turned upside down. Do they feel vindicated?
They absolutely do. And this is a huge and resounding victory for Ms. Moss and Ms. Freeman. And they're proud of that, but they're also proud that it's a victory for our democracy and for our system working. You know, too often in recent years, the powerful have not been held to account by our system. They've gotten away with misbehavior. You know, I think back to the 2008 financial crisis when so many regular Americans who were hurt bore the full weight of the consequences. And so many of those who were responsible got away scot-free. And I think that lack of accountability has contributed to the loss of faith in our democracy in recent years that opened the door for autocratic charlatans to come in and say that the system was rigged and only they can fix it. And I think if we're going to protect our democracy, we're going to need moments like this one where we're starting to see the powerful held to account again. You're seeing it in what you just discussed about the former president being indicted through the normal political process. And now two average citizens go into court and hold the former president's top lieutenant accountable. The tide is turning, and that makes me optimistic. There's still perils ahead, but this is a week in which our system is working. And that's something that we should celebrate, and it's worth protecting.
And we're showing some stills and seeing them smiling in contrast to the January 6th demeanor that showed the real cost to them in terms of, you know, the defamation. Is really, really wonderful and reassuring. Shaye Moss really showed the human cost of those lies. I want to play a portion of her testimony again from January 6th.
I don't go to the grocery store at all. I haven't been anywhere at all. I've gained about 60 pounds. I just don't do nothing anymore. I don't want to go anywhere. I second guess everything that I do. It's affecting my life in a major way.
Of course, Rudy Giuliani is now still refusing to concede that his false statements damaged your clients. How is this all still impacting their day-to-day lives?
Well, look, nobody can fully give back to Ruby and Shaye what has been taken from them, the ability to live a life without fear. But what they have given us is a model of what it's going to take for us to thrive as a democracy. You know, our founders created a system of government that was not self-executing. They never expected our institutions to protect themselves. They expected that the most important words of the Constitution were the first three, we the people, that we as citizens were going to need to stand up and protect our democracy if it was going to thrive. And I cannot think of two better models of that in the history of this country than Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, who volunteered to serve as election workers during a pandemic. And then in the face of horrific and racist and vile threats, instead of creeping back and just hiding themselves, as many reasonable people would have done, they decided to stand up and use the tools that our founders gave our citizens to stand up for what's right, and to stand up for the rule of law, and to stand up for accountability. And if we're going to survive as a democracy, I think we're going to need more Rubies and more Shayes, and we're all as citizens going to need to follow their inspiring model.
And in fact, Donald Trump also made those claims about Ruby Freeman during that infamous phone call with Brad Raffensperger. Listen to how Ms. Freeman reacted to being called a professional vote scammer and a hustler by a former president of the United States.
Do you know how it feels to have the president of the United States to target you? The president of the United States is supposed to represent every American, not to target one, but he targeted me, Lady Ruby.
Donald Trump's false claims are a big part of that Fulton County case, right?
They are, and they're related to this case as well, because one of the big upshots of the decision in court this week is that, Mr. Giuliani conceded liability in this case, and the court ruled that he was liable not only on our claim of defamation, but also on our claim of civil conspiracy, that he conspired with Donald Trump to do this. And so, Angie, I know there's probably not a lot of Trump supporters watching the program right now, but probably people watching know them. And it might be worth asking them if even Donald Trump's top lieutenant is being held to account in court for lies about the 2020 election. Isn't it time to start considering that maybe Donald Trump is lying about it too?